how do we start exercise when busy? And the first thing I would highly recommend for you to do if you are starting an exercise routine is to look at your schedule. Find the open days versus busy days, because those open days are going to be your real estate, the time where you are able to ultimately stick to that routine and actually get your workout in. So you don't want to be scheduling workouts in on the days you know are going to be busy, the days you have a lot of obligations. That should be a duh, but not sometimes people think this way. On top of that, define the minimum amount of work that you can do. And when I say minimum amount of work, I'm meaning the minimum amount of exercises or things that you want to do in your exercise routine every single week. So maybe right now, the minimum amount you can do is 1 weight training session a week. And if that's all you can do, that's fine. Do not try to add more onto it when you first start. Literally just try to get a little bit, okay? We're trying to build momentum here. So when you're busy and you're trying to start with exercise, find the minimum amount of workouts you can do. Maybe it's only 30 minutes of walking once or twice a week. Maybe it's 2 or 3 times a week of resistance training. Find your minimum. And then also too, find exercises and routines that are enjoyable and sustainable for you. Because if they're not enjoyable or sustainable, you're not going to stick with them for a very, very long time, of course. And then especially when you get tired and your schedule gets even busier, potentially in the long term, you're really not going to stick with it. So those are a good first few points. And then just adding that into your schedule, literally writing it in. Monday and Wednesday, 30-minute walk before work. Or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to do a 45-minute weight training session before work. That's a very, very easy way because you're literally writing it down. You're telling yourself, I'm going to do this. And if you've enjoyed these tips so far, please consider liking the video. I'd greatly appreciate it. And then in addition to that, we need to recognize some barriers that might actually come from your exercise routine. So when you're busy, obviously being busy is one of the biggest barriers, but there could also be some other hidden barriers that might come on top of this. So maybe you have friends that always want to party after you go to work. So instead of getting your walk in after a workout, they always want to go to party. They always want to go to the bar and drink. That's a huge barrier and something you need to kind of work through in your life. Maybe there's upcoming deadlines. It's Q1 or Q2, and you have so many different things you need to do for your job. This is a barrier. This is a huge barrier because you might be super stressed out and don't feel like you can do anything in your normal workouts. But if you stick to that minimum that we talked about earlier and just ride that out, you'll realize that, that barrier, all the deadlines, you've kind of accounted for this already because you're doing the minimum amount you can do even when life gets tough. Maybe another barrier for you is you always forget to pack your clothes, some extra food, or even your headphones when you're going out. This is something that happens with a lot of people. So just telling yourself, I'm going to plan ahead. I'm going to take 5 minutes tonight before I go to bed to plan out all my different things so I'm able to get all my stuff I need for my workout before I actually go out. And then, of course, this is probably one of the biggest ones, a huge barrier for you, especially if you're busy. I'm guessing you're very, very in tune to your career. You just might be too tired. So kind of looking at ways, how can I maybe not be as tired after work? Maybe when can I do exercise that won't conflict with my work? All of these are things that you should consider when trying to start exercise when busy. And then some quick tips too that I think can be used sometimes, but also just in a pinch. Make it more pleasurable. So maybe your normal workouts, you do a really long, tedious 30-minute run. That's what you're going to do 2 to 3 times a week. Maybe today you just make it a little bit more pleasurable and you do a run that's not quite as intense. Or maybe you do a run where you're listening to music or going out for a run instead of just running on the treadmill. Finding ways to make your exercise routine more pleasurable will increase adherence. In addition to this, adding friends to it can offer some accountability that you might not have otherwise. So that's a really good thing to have, of course, when you're busy, because, I'm not going to let my friend down. Even though I'm tired right now, I'm going to go work out with my friend because I'm getting some socialization. I'm excited to see them. I'm excited to talk about my day at work. But of course, you're just getting the exercise in too. And I think any type of thing that isn't the most fun, kind of like exercise at times, if you do it with a friend, that's going to make it way, way, way more enjoyable. Also, you can multitask too. This is something that I do occasionally. So I will walk on a treadmill and I will do phone calls, or I will walk on a treadmill and I will eat a small snack. Multitasking anytime when it comes to exercise, especially when you're busy, is very crucial. So maybe you're somebody who works from home, is very, very busy, and all you can do right now is, let's say, a 10-minute workout downstairs. That's great. Take your 10-minute break, go downstairs, do your workout. Maybe you'll do a little bit later. Trying to multitask and doing your best in that regard will really, really help you long-term to build some consistency. Planning the night before and all these things are just different ways to be more consistent. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be consistent with our health goals, our health routines. We're not doing anything crazy that we can't sustain for a very long time before we, of course, can add some complexity to